I was saying this is like the best junket ever because everyone's so nice and like excited to be here. It's awesome.
As I shove food in my face, y'all.
Do it, girl. You got to. The first thing I said when I went to the very first session, because I didn't know that much. Okay, is there something you guys want or need from me specifically, like higher or lower? Do you want a character voice? And they were like, no. They're like, nothing. We just want you to be 100% you. For every Pixar movie, we go through great lengths to make sure we just cast the heart and soul and personality of the character. So already I just felt like so free in that moment to just be myself and play and be different versions of her. It's the best job I've ever had because they were like, all right, let's take this line to a level 10. And I was like, oh my gosh, this is the best job in the world. Like most times people are like, can you do less? Can you be less? Can you be quieter? And then I was like, okay, great. So I did the line and then they're like, that was amazing. They're like, now let's take it to a level 12. And I was like, yes, I've just unlocked my true potential. So, and that was like how much fun we had. It was just going balls to the wall, but then, still having the emotion behind it. It was so much fun.
Can we talk about how you're feeling on the inside about animating a voice for Disney Pixar? Let's just talk about that for a second.
Can we talk? I mean, I don't know how to process it yet. Like, I'm still just every day. Everyone's like, how did you not talk about it for 3 years? And I was like, because honestly, I didn't believe it was true. From day one, I just said, this has got to be a prank. Something's going to go wrong along the way. Because, I mean, you know how these projects are. You never know if you're going to make it into the final edit of the film. I remember at the after party of the premiere, the Pixar one, I was able to talk to Bob Polly, who he's like iconic. He's been from day one of the animators. And he said over the last 6 years, they've had so many different characters and iterations. There was so many different storylines that got dropped along the way. So in that moment, I, again, just felt so incredibly lucky to even make it into the film, and then to be such an incredible new character within that is mind-blowing. I can't believe we're here. So basically, you'd go into the thingy, and I wouldn't know anything. Like, they don't send you anything beforehand. There's no scripts. I didn't know anything that was going on, which I think is so wonderful because it really takes you back to the main reason why we love performing and using your imagination. Everything is imagination-based, and really all you're getting is they give you this, the scenes, they have thick pieces of almost like cardboard ones where there's only one copy, and our script coordinator Slansky will put them up on the thingy, and you'll do it, and they'll take them down and put them in the vault because there's only one copy of each scene. So that was kind of how we operated. Wow. So everything was just here's what's happening, Woody's doing this and this and this, okay, now go. And so it really is just trusting your first basic instincts and what you're feeling in that exact moment. And I think it's cool because Cooley actually told me that 85% of what is Giggle McDimples in the movie was from our very first recording session in the first 30 minutes of that recording session. Wow. To me, which meant a lot because it really meant that my first instincts and what my first kind of feelings were for the character were what were really special. So that was cool. I keep telling them, you guys know you hired an ultimate fangirl. I don't know if this is going to be good or bad for you guys, but I'm going to be all over just freaking out every single day. I mean, to be the tiniest character to exist in the universe is really awesome, and then to be an Asian American, the first ever Asian American female within this universe is so incredible. To be a woman of color in this universe is so incredible. To be the new character in 4 is just, it's mind-blowing to me at every level. And I was kind of the age group that directly aligned with 1, 2, 3, 4. I think I was 9 when the first one, and then high school, and then college, and now 4 is just me as an adult. So it's really, really special. I'll go into Walmart and buy the cheese, honestly. That was what made me cry, though, shockingly, was when I saw her on Baby Bell cheese. I was like, wait, what's happening? And why am I having, a visceral emotional reaction to this? She has her own emoji! This is crazy! And it looks so good. I actually zoomed in and then gave it to this nail artist, and he drew the emoji.
I peeped that. I was going to ask you about that. I was like,
you did? Yeah, because you right next to
me. She's got her girl.
It was actually really hard, and he did his best. It's a little bit, gloopy, but that makes it more special.
I love the fact that you did that. What did you feel like the first time you saw the rendering of what the animated version of you was going to look like?
Oh, the animated. Well, the first session I went to, they were like, show her the animatic. And, I love it because they're all so excited to show me everything. I'm like, yeah, okay, great. The first thing they showed me was a little, thing of her just moving around. It was just her. There was no, scenery. It was just, a white background. And they had dubbed my lines from Wrecked, the show I was on at that time, onto her thingy. So it was just so weird because it was this other character character that I played and now merged with what would be Giggle McDimples. And when I saw that, it was again very freeing because I said, oh, they just want me to talk as me. Like, they didn't need any like crazy character or anything. I could just be myself. So that was the first time I had seen her. And at that time, she was still in a little pink and purple dress.
Oh, a pink and purple dress.
Yes. She was not.
So she evolved into an officer with shades.
Yeah. Yes, the shades. Yes. And some shade.
She's wearing shades and she's giving shade.
She's giving shade. By the way, the doll is very shady. Because if you ask, like, we did another thing and we were like, hey, are you excited for Toy Story 4? And she goes, haha, not today. It was hilarious. And then we were like, let's try it again. We were like, you excited for Toy Story 4? And she goes, that's a negative. And we're like, oh my gosh, you're so shady right now. Stop. You need to chill. But she's not afraid to say what she means. So at that time, the very first iteration was, I actually also got this like black notebook that you open and it felt like a Pixar like CIA notebook, and you just open it and it had like drawings of her in all different like different ways. But she had a little pink bow on and a pink and purple dress at that time. Oh, wow. She was still the same like feisty spirit. And then over the months, I remember I came back and they were like, hey, so we have a surprise for you. And I was like, what is it? What is it? What could be more amazing than this? And they're like, she is now a cop, and we've given her a job, and she's the police chief of Minneapolis. And I was like, that's honestly the most perfect way. Which I was like, tell me more about Minneapolis, because that place sounds amazing. Like, I'm trying, I know, where is it? What is it? How do we get there? And I've been telling them we got to do Minneapolis, the spin-off. And we imagine like she has a little like trench coat or something, and she's just like solving crime. She's on the beat. But yeah, we'll see. I mean, you know.
Oh, look at you getting all emotional.
I know.
Oh, your little eyes are welling up.
I know. Well, how can they not? I'm so proud of this film, and like, it means so much to me personally. So I think like as someone who is an Asian American female growing up in a world where we didn't have that many strong representations in TV and film and, you know, in magazines, I think Toy Story for me resonated so much because these characters are without borders and barriers. Like, you could see yourself in Rex, you could be RC, you could be Slinky Dog, like, you could be any of these things, and I think that's why it resonated so much with me. And I think why it resonates so much with a lot of people.
I feel like the theme for the film is friendship. Mm-hmm. How if you truly have a friend, that friendship never really goes away, no matter how many miles or distance separates you.
Yeah.
How do you feel about that particular theme within this story and dealing with toys? Because growing up as somebody as a military brat, that was real for me. I always was in a situation where I was like, do I fit in? Am I going to make new friends? Or my old friends going to stay in contact with me? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, totally. I mean, growing up, I was a very, very shy girl, and performing was my outlet. So friendship has always been something that I kind of struggle with, only because it's hard to make friends when you're really shy and you're insecure about who you are. So now growing up and finding the confidence to find these friendships, especially female friendships. I mean, Asian American Girl Club is like where I have found so much empowerment in using my voice, because I feel like when you do have that sisterhood of that female connection, it fills a hole in your heart that nothing else can. So I think that's why it's so meaningful, especially to see these strong female friendships on board. I mean, they don't need each other, but they do, you know, at the same time. So I think that's why it's really special to me. Asian Americans have had a momentous year, and it's been very exciting to watch, and that's a lot of why I created Asian American Girl Club, because I knew there was all these girls all over the country that were the only ones in their whole school or the whole town, and felt like they didn't have anyone out to reach out to, and I felt like this was like the web that I wanted to create those lines to those girls and say, like, I totally understand how you feel, and I resonate with your story just as much as you do with mine. And so I think we're making amazing strides, and the more different and varied and complex and flawed characters we can represent, the more it's going to impact and shape culture. I'm very excited that Giggle will be one of them. She inspires me, so. It's been such a long journey for me, because I think because I started when I was so young, I was instantly just so boxed in at such a young age. I mean, I was 14 and I was basically told, you can only be this or this. So I felt like in that moment at 14, I lost my identity. And so much of my career has been trying to rebuild that and trying to find it. And I think what's so great about this film is we are able to give that to these young people at a much younger age so they don't have to go through this. And of course they're going to go through the ups and downs struggles of finding their own personal identity, but I think for me, finding that my self-worth mattered just as a human, like as obviously a woman of color, but just as a woman of any race or just any gender, it doesn't matter. I think that's been the greatest lesson for me, is I found a lot of confidence and a lot of identity through just being in this film, because it's basically saying that someone like you matters, girls like you matter, and I'm excited for the next generation because they're going to be 10 years old and they've got their dolls and they're like, I could be a police chief, obviously. Why would you think that I couldn't be? Right. And I love that. It's like, wow, where did you get your confidence, you know? But that's what these characters do for them. It just creates their new normal. It is their reality of, I'm growing up in a world where women are police chiefs, where women are unafraid to say what they want. Duh, like, duh, Ally, why don't you just say how you feel? Yeah. So to have their confidence would be awesome, and I'm working towards that every day, but doing films like this really helps me personally. There's something called the Vogue Sheet, which is very exciting. Basically, it's just, you do 100 different noises in 3 minutes. It's like small laugh, big laugh, slight chuckle, big chuckle, like surprise chuckle, like effort, small effort, big effort, you know, and that's fun. So we did like so many different variations. There's like extended laugh, you know, like short laugh. We did all the variations. The only reason why I'm in this film is because I woke up one day and I said, I have to make this skit for no reason. And I made it on a Saturday with no budget, my dog, my nephew, and my fiance's little brother. And we just went out in my neighborhood and made this thing that it was just the way I viewed the world personally. And I didn't think anyone would resonate with it. It barely got any views. But one of the views was the head of casting at Pixar, and that is 100% why I'm in this film. And they said they use YouTube as a resource because they're trying to find the most like authentically new stories and people and different variations of reality and how you see the world. So I would 100% say make your own content, because it really does matter. And it doesn't matter if it gets 5 views or 100 million. If it even resonates with one person, then you know that you are moving things forward.